In the Gun, episode number 96. Man, we're getting up there. We're getting old, fellas. It's time for our week 6 pick'em here on ITG. You are In the Gun. It's your new favorite WV football podcast. I'm Wesley Euler. I got the best teammates in the business, the runaway beer truck, Owen Schmidt himself, and the signal caller, Jed Drenning. And as always, you already know this episode of ITG brought to you in part by our friends at Bet Online, where the game starts. All right, before we get into any of this, give the updated standings, our picks for this week, all of that. Jed, recap for us how we did last week, partner.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to look at here. Let's start with passing. I picked Texas Tech to throw for the most yards, which by law means they didn't. The top five, 366 yards by Oklahoma, 336 by Houston. I'll tell you what's kind of interesting. Houston's quarterback, Donovan Smith, Texas Tech transfer. That was the one shining spot for Houston going into that 3-touchdown loss at Texas Tech. He really was eager to get back and play that former team of his. 325 yards by Texas comes in at number 3. TCU against us, 298. I don't care if it's 898, they lost. And number 5, 293 by Baylor in that crazy comeback win, down 35-7, storm back 36-35 over UCF. What a game for the Fighting Dave Arandas. So I came in at number 9 with Texas Tech. They threw for 161, which of course warrants no points, 0 points. Owen picked with his rushing offense of the week. He picked Central Florida. Well, rushing for the most yards in the Big 12 last week were the Texas Longhorns with 336. Really, the first time in the post-Bijan era that you've seen Texas get the ground game cranking like they did Saturday. It's been more through the
big day on the ground.
Yeah, big day on the ground. Been more of a Quinn Ewers type season for him. But number 2, Cincinnati with 246 and the loss to BYU. And then number 3, big day on the ground for Texas Tech. Of course, because I picked them to throw for a lot of yards, they instead ran for a lot of yards. 239 yards. Owen, you came in at number 4, 235 by UCF and a loss to Baylor. So 2 points awarded for your 4th place finish. Wes, as the defense in the Big 12, to allow the fewest points, you selected Oklahoma. Pretty good pick, close. The fewest points in the Big 12 were actually allowed by Texas in a blowout win, somewhat surprising blowout win over Kansas. Boy, they dominated that football game. It was close on the scoreboard for a while, but everything else wasn't. You just kept waiting for the dam to break, and finally it did. So Texas allowed the fewest at 14. Oklahoma allowed the second fewest at 20, and a 50-20 blowout of Iowa State. West Virginia came in at number 3, guys, 21. But Wes, for your 2nd place finish, ding, ding, you get 4 points. Schuyler picked Texas to score the most points as an offense. Oklahoma actually scored the most in the Big 12 last week with 50. Texas Tech came in at number 2 with 49. Texas, Schuyler's pick, comes in at number 3 in their 40-14 win over Kansas. So Schuyler rings up 3 points. And Wes, do you have the overall
standings? I have the updated standings here. Yes, I sure do. Speaking of 21, the amount of points our Mountaineers surrendered in the first half before they shut them at in the second half down there in TCU. 21. I'm in first place with 21 points. Schuyler now, it's a tight race for second, is in second with 13. Owen has got 12. And Jed, this has got to be an error. I'm
just happy I don't have -1.
Owen, can you and I take a moment, Big O, and laugh? The irony is so thick. It's like that steel smoker that Jed was talking about in the last episode. I mean, the irony is so thick. It's like that steel smoker down in Texas. Jed is our Phil Steele. Like, don't get me wrong.
I'm not going to say that.
Oh, and you're a college football legend. I mean, you got the damn EA Sports cover behind you that you were on. You big NCAA football show off. You played in the National Football League. I work in football media for a professional sports team. So as a guy who's 150 pounds soaking wet. So I like to think that I know a little bit about football. It's not like I played the game. Like I kind of had to earn the career that I've carved out here. Our guy Schuyler as well covers the Panthers, knows everything about the Mountaineers, knows ball. Jed is our Phil Steele, though. Like, Jed is by far, of Owen and I and Schuyler as well, too, like, by far more knowledgeable, knows more about the Big 12, the teams around the conference, the coaches. It's not even close, yet goose egg. I mean, Owen, this would be like us all belling up to the bar and Jed being in first place in the drinking contest right now. He's got no points through 5 weeks. Irony's so thick it honestly makes that steel smoker look small.
If you asked me when I was playing who was going to throw for the most yards, when I was the quarterback and I had the game plan in front of me, I don't think I could have told you. And I was the one throwing it. I don't think I could answer that question right.
You know? I think the villain in me is so happy Jed has 0 points.
It's same.
It's just
but
like
also it's incredible.
What you see as a negative, I see as a weapon.
Well, I feel bad for him, honestly. Maybe I'm not happy to see him with 0.
I don't want your pity. Come on, James Franklin. I don't want your pity.
It puts a great smile on my face.
Score on me, James Franklin. I don't want your pity.
It's hilarious. Like it's hilarious. It is us going to the bar right now and Jed drinking Owen under the table. That's what's happening.
I'm telling you, I see this as a positive. I have the ability to, with one word, curse any passing game in the Big 12.
True.
Yeah. So would you just start picking our opponent every
really
week,
doing? Maybe he's doing that on purpose.
He's taking one for the team.
Well, in other words,
like great teammate. Jed
like
Drennan, great teammate.
To Owen's point, I remember a girl I graduated high school with. We took the ACT. And with the one particular section, math, guess what she scored on her math? She scored a 1.
Oh.
I'm like, you almost have to know the answers and miss them on purpose. How do you do that? You can't score a 1. You can't guess your way to a 1. Come on. So maybe Owen's right. Maybe that's what's happening.
He might be, man. Maybe he does have some juju going on there.
Listen, Jed, at this point, if it's a bit, just keep it going, brother. All right.
Yeah.
Just keep it going, brother. And start picking who the Mountaineers are playing.
He's got some dolls in the house.
And see, it takes
Dylan Gabriel. He's out there pinpricking Dylan Gabriel.
I mean, it's easy to say, hey, why don't you just pick who West Virginia's playing? Well, because then he'll do what Texas Tech did and run for 250 yards. That's why. You got to be careful. You got to selectively curse the right team. That's what you got to do.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, we're going to find out here in just a minute who Jed is cursing this week in our Week 6 Pick'em edition. There's our recap of last week, how we're doing in the standings, all those things. When we come back here on the other side, we will, of course, give our picks for Week 6. You are in the gun.
Nobody supports the blue and gold Mountaineers like Toothman Ford. With over 20 NIL deals and counting, Toothman Ford continues to rally behind our student athletes. And it's time we rally and support the dealer that supports the Mountaineers. Not only does Toothman Ford offer the best prices in the state on pre-owned, their never over MSRP campaign on new Fords guaranteed to save you thousands. Drive with pride all season long, knowing you're supporting the dealer that fuels our Mountaineers. Toothman Ford, where cars cost less, in Grafton and at toothmanford.com.
For more West Virginia Mountaineer football content, be sure to follow us on Twitter at In the Gun Podcast.
For nearly 20 years, Fortis has been the nation's leader in providing guaranteed roof performance programs for commercial buildings. Fortis offers roof performance solutions that feature extensive initial and ongoing reconditioning for commercial buildings as an alternative to traditional replacement, with long-term performance guarantees that are backed by global leader Lloyd's of London. Fortis offers a comprehensive range of roof performance management programs that provide financial security, extend the life of our customers' roofs, and make a significant impact on ROI. Fortis is currently improving performance and increasing ROI for customers at more than 4,800 locations, with more than 140 million square feet protected, including many Fortune 500 companies that have turned to Fortis to save money, gain financial certainty, and extend the life of their existing roofs. Fortis has helped customers save more than $520 million in capital roof replacement costs for an average ROI of over 250%. To learn more, visit fortis.us.com. Fortis, roof performance and financial certainty guaranteed.
Let's go, Mountaineer fans. You're tuned in to In the Gun with Wes, the runaway beer truck, and the signal caller.
Back in the gun here as we get ready for our Week 6 Pick'em segment here on the show. Before we give our picks here, I did want to thank our guy JR and Toothman Ford. We all know cars cost less in Grafton. Jed, tell us about, we're running this contest, I guess you could call it, more like a game, if you will, on our Twitter every week. In the Gun Podcast on Twitter is where you can get involved. It's just a real simple link. You give us your name and your email address. That's it. You pick your 4 picks of the week: beer truck, signal caller, defense, offense. You get all 4 right, and you're going to get a signed Owen Schmidt rookie card, maybe some other cool prizes as we roll along throughout the regular season. Jed, no one has gotten 4 right yet, but we did have someone get 3 out of 4 this week. Pretty good.
Well, last week we had 2 people get 2 right. And the participants, the number keeps going up. We have a lot more people playing this week. So let's first hit on some of the folks that even got 2. None of us got 1. And that shows you how hard this is. So these are some of the folks, in other words, that picked 2 correct. Kevin Mace got 2 correct. Brandon Carpenter, if you're out there listening and watching, got 2 correct. Joe Snyder got 2 correct. Let's see here. I'm trying to read the graph. Tommy Cooper got 2 correct. Lonnie Hayes got 2 correct. John Douglas Anderson got 2 correct. Seth Jeffrey got 2 correct. Gordon Ellison got 2 correct. Baxter Mallory got 2 correct. And finally, the last one I see, unless I'm missing something, if so, shout out on Twitter to us, because I apologize. We'll give you another shout out. The only other one I see is Mike Vest got 2 correct. Now, something you guys don't know about Mike Vest. Guess who Mike Vest's daughter dates?
Steve Sweater.
Casey Legg. Casey Legg, the one and only Casey Legg. And what a wonderful couple they are. They were at the Texas Tech game 2 weeks ago. So those are the folks that got 2 right. Now, you want to walk in really high cotton. This guy got 3 right. He picked Oklahoma to throw for the most, Texas as the defense to allow the fewest, nailed it. Oklahoma as the offense to score the most, nailed it. The only one he missed, and we can't fault him for this, the offense he picked to rush for the most, West Virginia against TCU. If you're going to miss one, miss that one. Go down with your boots on, right?
That's right.
But drum roll, please. The one and only Brian Moffitt. 3 out of 4, Brian. So you are heating up the kitchen. You're
Shout out, Brian.
That is those folks with 2 are impressive. I mean, but first of all, congratulations to those that got any right, because that's more than what we did. Even if you got 1 right, you beat us. But if you got 2 right, you're really doing something special. But 3, Brian Moffitt, he's flirting with excellence here. He's 1 pick away. So tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell your dogs. All you got to do is enter your email, enter your name, and play the contest, the pick 4. We post the link each week on Twitter. My good friend Will Gregory handles all the logistics. He sends me the list with the appropriate picks of who was right, who was not. He makes life real easy for us to do it. And so this is a lot of fun so far. It's a lot of fun. And getting these fans and listeners engaged in this, it really gives you a sense of how challenging this is when you put it. But we're going to make it worth your while. If you hit all 4, you get the shout out right now. If you even hit a couple of them, we're making it fun like that. But we're going to give you some signed stuff, and Owen will sign a card, and we'll hook you up with some pretty cool stuff. We'll talk to you about that when it happens. But that's where it's at right now, guys. 3 out of 4 by Brian Moffitt.
Pretty darn good. Someone's got to be the first to get 4 out of 4. Might as well be you. Make sure you're tapping into our, like I said, Twitter account, X. Now I guess that it's technically called @In the Gun Podcast.
If you're
the
the
link
first,
for the weekly picks,
you will forever be an ITG legend. There's no doubt about it. There's no
Listen,
doubt about it. You will be an ITG legend.
Jed, who was the first man on the moon?
Come on, man. You're asking me? Neil.
But that's what everybody knows.
George
the answer.
Costanza?
Like everybody knows the answer to who's the second man on the moon. Well, Jed probably knows because he's Jed. But don't answer that. Owen, do you know who the second man on the moon was? I don't know who the second man on the moon was.
We never landed on the moon.
Boom.
Those
Hashtag
were Actor
Listen,
not.
listen. If you want Owen's theory on our moon landing conspiracy, you can get it for $5 a month at onlyfans.com/beer truck. Now it's time to make.
Picks.
Now it's time to make our. He said /feet picks.
I thought that's what he said. That's three out of the last 4 episodes. He's inserted that in there. He shoehorns, no pun intended, that same phrase into every episode now.
Just setting myself up.
That's the pun. That's the pun of the day right there. All right, well, Big O, Mr. OnlyFans feet picks here. Who's your pick for week 6?
Hey, whoever gets 4 in a row, I'm gonna send you a signed copy of my feet.
Oh my God. See,
you guys just see Owen feet up in the UPS with his feet on the scanner on the Xerox machine, just taking a scan of his feet, and then he signs it.
Yeah, I know, right? Nobody's gonna participate anymore. I'm just kidding about the feet picks. Coming off the bye, Kansas State. That's who I'm going with this week. I think the wheels are gonna get rolling, and they're gonna dog Oklahoma State.
I love it. Check in with me for more on that game later. But first, the signal caller of the week. Jed Drenning, you going to get on the board here? What's the voodoo? What do we got?
I want Oklahoma to have at least one loss. And I think that the way Dylan Gabriel plays, he does need to play well for them to win and beat Texas. I want him to have at least one loss, and maybe it'll spiral into something before we get to Norman later in the year. So I'm going to curse Dylan Gabriel. I'm going to go with him. Because I don't think without Dylan Gabriel that the Oklahoma run game is enough. But of course, now that I said that, they'll go out and run for 382 against Texas. But I'm going to curse Dylan Gabriel. I want. Again, I'm not loving on Texas. Trust me, I'd love to see them stumble. But I'd like to see Dylan Gabriel and the Sooners suffer one here. Maybe that spirals into something. We'll see. But I'm going to go with Dylan Gabriel to be cursed this week. I mean, to throw for the most passing yards this week.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And you know what? I was going to give Schuyler's pick before mine. I was going to do the gentleman thing and go last. But you know what, Jed? I'm doing this live. This is honest to God. If you look at my piece of paper right here, I have Kansas State written down because that's who I was going to go with, right? Everything Owen said. They're also playing a struggling Oklahoma State team right now. So Kansas State was going to be my pick for defense of the week. This is not the smart thing to do. I'm gambling with my heart, not my head right now. I'm gambling with my emotions. I'm like the guy who knows it's a bad bet to place, but he's just going to make it anyways because he's emotional. Give me Texas as my defense of the week. I'm with you, Jed. Listen, Oklahoma's a good team. Don't get me wrong, but like all these people are talking about that. I saw a graphic the other day. I can't remember if it was on ESPN or NBC or wherever. They got like a 59% chance to go to the college football playoff. You kidding me? Like, they are much better than they were last year. Much better than they were last year, without a doubt. But I don't think Oklahoma is that good. I don't think they're in kind of the same category as Texas right now. So, again, this isn't smart. I'm like the guy whose, team is a 17-point underdog, 17.5 point underdog. And he's like, I'm taking a money line. I don't need the points. We're going to win straight up. All of the Mountaineers basically just did that on Saturday. Give me Texas.
Well,
my Big 12 defense of the week.
Can Texas withstand the Oklahoma ground game that I just unleashed on you? Because I shut Dylan Gabriel down. I took care of that.
The question.
But all I did was open a can.
Texas is going to be able to bow up. All right. And they're going to give up like 10 points, 13 points to Oklahoma. They're going to win like 27-13. How about there's your final score for the Red River rivalry. You don't even need to watch on Saturday. You're welcome. I'm screw it. I'm doing the emotional thing here, but you know what? When you got maybe I'll look back on this at the end of the year and be like, this ended up costing me. I should have just went with it. But when you got a nice lead, you could avoid to take some risks, and that's what I'm doing here. Screw it for the scenes. Give me Texas.
You picked against Oklahoma State. They screwed you. Their offense screwed you. You picked Iowa State against Oklahoma State, and they dropped 27.
That's the only week. That's the only week this season I think that I got no points, Jed. So you're right. All right, the voodoo's all pointing to it. Give me Texas as they'll put the clamps down on Oklahoma. Schuyler, our guy, he wants TCU. I really like this pick for Schuyler, too, as the offense of the week. Now, to be fair, it's a night game at Iowa State, and we all know, Jed, you've been there. You've witnessed it. Weird things happen at Jack Trice in night games.
Interesting thing, Wes. I could tell you this from the conversation with Brian at dinner the other night that we mentioned in the last episode. TCU, and they don't normally do this, it's a night game at Jack Trice, as you said. They're staying Saturday night. They're not flying back. Very unusual. but they're staying.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that is very
Sunday,
unusual.
you lose the day anyway, so it's a tough day on Sunday anyway. So we're going to stick around, and yeah, TCU is staying, which I thought that was fans assume, well, you must stay, you must do this. And NFL, college, no, not
when those teams play in London, when the Falcons and the Jags play in London, that game ends. They go to the plane and they fly home. I mean, 8 hours back to Jacksonville or wherever they're going. So yeah, that is weird. Hopefully for TCU's sake, they win, because you lose, you're just elongating a miserable return home there, right?
I'm telling you, TCU, they're, in my estimation, they're a pretty good football team. Now, how they bounce back from what happened against us, we'll see. But they have some players, man.
I think so too. And again, it's Iowa State night game. That's a tough environment, but I like Schuyler's pick there. I think TCU looks like a team that will bounce back this season. Final thank you to our friends at Fortis, our guy Rick Lewis, for roof performance and financial certainty guarantee. Make sure you check out fortis.us.com. Gentlemen, no preview episode this week because it's the bye week, so we will be looking forward to Jed and Schuyler's conversation with Phil Steele later in the week. That'll be it in terms of our content for this week. So no more, usually we still have 2 episodes to go for me to tease at this point, but you have still what we all look forward to with Phil to get you ready for a big weekend across college football. Even though it's a good weekend, I think, in that regard, honestly, for you not to have to worry about a Mountaineers game. It's a good weekend to just maybe hit the fall festival in the morning with the kids. That's what I'm going to do Saturday morning. And then watch some college football, relax, stress-free, heartburn-free Saturday for Mountaineer Nation. Feeling pretty good about ourselves at 4-1 as well. One thing we ask of you, as always, before we get out of here, is to be an ear and tell an ear about your new favorite WVU football podcast. For the signal caller, Jed Drenning, and the runaway beer truck down the sideline, Owen Schmidt. Of course, our producer, putting it all together and killing it, as always, Schuyler Callahan. I'm Wesley Euler. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the bye week. Enjoy Phil. We'll talk to you soon. You've been in the gun.